I wrote 4 questions for my grandmother's doctor. She asked none. That was Tuesday morning, at the clinic. Her appointment was at 9 o'clock. I took the day off work to go with her. I arrived at her flat at 8. She was already sitting by the door in her good gray coat. "You are late," she said, and then she smiled. In her hand she held a small paper bag of lemon candies. I asked her why she needed candies at 8 in the morning. "For later," she said. We took a ride from the app. The driver played old songs, and she knew all of them. She hummed the whole way there. I read my 4 questions again on my phone. The waiting room was full when we walked in. Our number was 27. The screen said 14. After 10 minutes, she had read every poster on the wall. After 20 minutes, she asked me if I had eaten breakfast. I said yes. That was not true. After 40 minutes, she was telling the man beside her about my job. He laughed at a story about me that I had never heard before. I watched the clock and thought about the work waiting for me. Then a door opened and a nurse called my grandmother's name. The nurse's name was Lena. The room behind the door was small and very bright. Lena put the cuff on my grandmother's arm and asked how she was sleeping. My grandmother answered with a long story about the neighbor's dog. Lena laughed and wrote something down. Then she asked about the stairs in the building. My grandmother said she still counted them every morning. 22. Lena asked about her knees. My grandmother asked about Lena's son. Lena said he had started school in September, and he hated the bus. My grandmother opened the paper bag and put 2 candies on the desk. I looked at my phone again. We had been in that building for 90 minutes. The doctor called us in at 10 past 10. He was already typing when we sat down. He asked 3 questions and looked at the screen for the answers. I read my 4 questions out loud, one after the other. He answered all of them in less than a minute. "Everything looks fine," he said. "Come back in 6 months." We were out of his room in 4 minutes. In the corridor I did not say anything for a while. We had waited 2 hours to be seen for 4 minutes. My grandmother walked slowly beside me and smiled at the floor. I asked her what was funny. Lena remembered my name, she said. She remembered it from last year. I stopped walking. Then I understood the candies. She had not brought them for later. She had brought them for Lena. At the desk near the exit, Lena looked up from her computer. She said my grandmother's name before she looked at the screen. My grandmother waved with the paper bag still in her hand. Outside, we sat on a bench and shared what was left in the bag. I asked her why she never asked the doctor anything. "He knows my blood," she said. Lena knows me. 6 months later, we went back to the same clinic. This time I did not write any questions. I stopped at the shop on the corner before I picked her up. I bought a small paper bag of lemon candies. She saw it in my hand at the door and said nothing. She only smiled and put on her good gray coat. At the desk, Lena looked up before we reached her. She said my grandmother's name. Then she said mine. Thank you for listening to this story. There is a new one every week here on Slow English Listening.